Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Alrighty. It's the May episode.
There's your cold open.
I knew it. I freaking knew it.
Tep Stepp, your premium Texas high school football podcast from your friends at Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. I am the Tep, Greg Tepper.
And I'm the Stepp, Matt Stepp.
Thanks for being a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. We love you. There's more of you. There's more of you now than ever.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate that. Or if you're not a subscriber and you're just listening to us or you're watching us free on YouTube on Wednesday,
you should be a subscriber because guess what? It's almost magazine time.
Yeah, honestly, if you're gonna do it, I don't know. It's kind of weird that so I subscribe to a bunch of streaming services. I think because I got kids, and it's one of those things that I think there was probably a time where I didn't want to subscribe to something that I wasn't getting anything physical out of. You know what I mean? Sure. It's just I just get this access to this digital thing. But now I'm the opposite. It's oh no, I'll pay for ESPN Plus so that I can watch, whatever I need to. Paramount Plus, I get to watch Queens Park Rangers, etc. Now, if you are like I used to be and you need something physical in your hands to justify your subscription, TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Yes. Because it's almost done.
The magazine's almost done. It's going to get delivered to your mailbox before it hits stores. So don't worry about trying to go to HEB and all the other great
Walmart,
stores to find the magazine. We're just going to deliver it to your mailbox. And you got it right there. You can read it while sitting on the toilet and have a good time.
Give yourself the gift of convenience at TexasFootball.com/subscribe. You know who does that is our intrepid and valued producer, now in stunning 4K.
Oh, let's check it out. Let's see.
VNA Moreno.
Oh, look at
this.
Look at VNA.
Look at this. Wow. Hi, VNA.
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
Good. How are you guys? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I need more you, though. Yeah, we need more V.
Okay.
More V would be great. This is your May off-season edition of Tep Stepp. It's the final countdown of the off-season because June, we'll have 7-on-7 preview. July, we'll have coaching school. And then it's just season. We're through it. We're officially through it.
I received an email from the lovely and talented VNA Moreno today, talking about our season preview schedule.
All five of them.
We're setting that up. It's 5 or 6, yeah. 5, yeah. So we're locking in those dates. It's time. This is the long slog of the off season is beginning to end because next month is the 7-on-7 preview. We got coaching school. It's time. We're magazine's wrapping up. It's time.
But you know what the other thing about?
I'm making my schedule for 2025.
You are. It's sick. We were worried though, because the May episode can be a little lean, buddy.
Can be.
We got some stuff to talk about.
Got a few things.
We will be discussing.
A few things happened.
Some of the most, I would say, surprising and shocking coaching changes yet, as we have our last segment of coaching change talk here on Tep Stepp. Then we'll talk a little 7-on-7. Steph's been out a number of SQTs. I want to pick his brain on what the teams have impressed him most. And then another reason why you pay for this podcast, it's the Sleepers episode. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
We've gone in the lab. We've checked out all the teams and been what are the sleepers? Who are the teams that nobody's talking about that are going to make us look on Thanksgiving week, we're going to be hey, remember that time in May when I said that so-and-so is going to be good?
Clip this and post it.
That's exactly right. This is a very clippable show here on the May episode of Tep Stepp. But we will start, Matthew, as we always do, with your Texas high school football fun fact of the week, presented by Your Business Here. Matt Stepp, your Texas high school football fun fact of the week. This is the dumbest one I've come up with yet.
All right.
So I put together in one document every UIL Texas high school football preview capsule. Okay.
And how many pages is it?
It is, 484 pages.
Nice. I wrote a lot of those.
You wrote a lot of them. Let's see if I can tools. Do we have a word count? We do. There's 235,836 words, which includes 1,298,600 characters.
Lovely.
Okay. Matt Stepp, I took that document and I fed it into ChatGPT. Okay. Matt Stepp, according to ChatGPT, what is the most common first name of players listed in the 2025 Texas High School or 2025 edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football? The most common name. I've got the top 5 here.
Andrew.
Not top 5. Strike 1.
Thomas.
Strike 2. VNA, you can have a free guess if you want.
No, keep guessing.
Okay.
I'm on strike 2 here. Some form of Jonathan.
Strike 3.
Dang it.
Matthew. In 5th place with 91 occurrences, there are 91 Jordans.
Okay.
In 4th place, there are 104 Jacobs.
Okay, Jacob.
In 3rd place, there are 108 Aidens. In 2nd place,
okay.
there's 120 Ethans.
Okay.
And in 1st place, the most common first name in the 2025 high school section of Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
Caleb.
131 times. What'd you say?
Caleb.
No. Jaden. There are 131 Jadens.
Yeah, but see, I was hearing something on one of the podcasts I listen to, the Dumb Zone.
Dumb Zone. Shout out to DC.
I'm a Dumb Zone subscriber, and they were talking about a lot, like at least with girls, a lot of older names are getting really back in vogue and retro. Wonder if you'll see that.
A lot of Lorettas.
Yeah, just like some of those names you would associate like the 30s and 40s are coming back into vogue. I wonder if that'll happen with the dudes.
Well, I just know that there's
my name's a biblical name, so I mean the Bible.
My name's a biblical. My name.
Bible never goes out of style.
Exactly right. You're the only VNA I've ever met, VNA Moreno. Anyway, there it is. Your Texas High School fun fact of the week. I don't love what you're implying there, but that's fine. All right, Matthew.
You're the best VNA.
You are my number 1 ranked VNA.
Yay.
Let's talk a little Texas high school football coaching changes. And it's May, and this is normally not what we're talking about.
No.
But I would say...
It's been a few. It's been a busy offseason.
This is perhaps the splashiest month of coaching changes that we've seen in quite some time. I can't recall a span, especially this late in the offseason, where there were this many high profile and quite frankly a little sus coaching changes. They feel like there's something going on around them. We always have like retirements and stuff like that. Yeah. These are not retirements. That's what I think is so remarkable here. So I think we probably have to start with the biggest one that I think got the biggest jolt from everybody. Let's talk about Gunner.
Yeah.
The Gunner Tigers, the 3-time defending 3A Division II state champs. The 3-time defending 3A Division II state champs. It's worth mentioning that.
Yeah.
They've won 5 titles since 2016 under Coach Jake Fizzell. Jake Fizzell is no longer the head coach there. He stepped down or announced that he was stepping down at the end of the school year. Since then, they have gone and promoted their offensive coordinator, Jordan Gill.
Correct, yes.
To be their head coach. I know we talked a little bit about how that feels like the right move.
Yes.
I want to be very clear about this, that in the way that we report things and the way that and the principles that we hold here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football, that there are certain things that are reportable that are known knowns, and that's what we can tell you. But there are other things that I know are in the ether that are being talked about on the internet that we're not going to comment on. That's not our place, and that's not how journalism works, quite frankly.
No. If we're not going to. Yeah, I mean, and if we got confirmation of something like we would report on it. We don't have any confirmation.
We don't have any confirmation
on rumors and slander somebody or say something bad about somebody.
That's not how we roll.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through the timeline here?
Sure.
On this, because
you were involved too.
You called me and said, "Buddy, do I have a story for you?"
So I guess it was about a week and a half before the news dropped.
Mm-hmm.
I got a text message from a really good source.
When you called me, you described this person as someone who doesn't miss. Like you said,
Correct.
Very reliable.
Yes, reliable source. And he said, "Hey, I'm hearing there's about to be a coaching change in Gunner." He texted me this while I was at my president business job. And I texted him back in all caps, like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?"
On the list of jobs where you don't think there's going to be.
Was not expecting that.
Gunner is on that.
I was not expecting that. And so I called him and kind of got some more details. I said, "Okay, I'm going to look into it." So I called you. Said, "Hey, this is what I'm hearing." And you obviously had not heard anything about it. And so I was like, "Okay." Well, literally 5 minutes after that, while I was on the phone with another coach talking about 7-on-7 related topics, another coach, this is a coach who called me and I didn't answer because I was on the phone with another coach, and he texted me back all caps, "Call me ASAP." I was like, "Oh,
things are cooking."
Yeah. And so I called him and he goes, "Dude, you're not going to believe this." He goes, "I'm hearing Gunner." Oh, no, he said, "Dude, you're not going to believe this. I just got an email about a really big head coaching job is about to open." And I said, "Gunner?" And he goes, "How did you know? Oh my God." Like he's freaking out. "How did you know?" And I'm like, "I got good sources." So that told me, okay, there's something up here. There's some smoke here.
Yeah.
We got something cooking.
Those are two independent people. Those two people are not connected.
Correct.
Because what would happen in that meantime is I'm trying to run down some sources and coming up empty, and then you basically call me back and be like, "You can quit running down sources. I got it."
This is something. Yeah, there's something. So then then you start kind of working other sources and other angles, and you start hearing, some things are happening. Obviously I collaborated, no secret that I collaborated a little bit with our friend Jason De La Rosa from the Sherman Herald Democrat, who's a local reporter who covers Gunner. We were hearing a lot of the same things by that point, and so then it was just a matter of just waiting for it. By then there was enough smoke where you thought there was something there, and then eventually Coach Fizzell texted myself and Jason and let us know that he'd be stepping down, and that's kind of how it worked. But there was enough smoke there where we kind of already had a story ready to go. We had started to hear some things, and felt strongly enough that there was enough there that it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when, not if. And that's kind of how we in our private Slack chats, we kind of said, "Okay, this is happening. We need to be ready to go when it happens."
He told us, he told you, in that it was a personal matter. And we're just leaving it at that.
Yep.
That's not our place to pry.
Yeah.
And so they move on, and I think we'd kind of talked immediately. Like, I would say this, like, at this point, anytime there's a coaching change in late April or May, my thought is always
9 times out of 10
you're going to promote from within.
Yeah. Especially when you've had the success Gunner's had.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make sense to go out. Granted, if Gunner would have posted their job, they would have gotten applicants out the wazoo.
They would have gotten applicants nationally.
Yes. But this late, and with the success they've had, it just doesn't make any sense to not reward the success that they've had. And they promote Jordan Gill, the offensive coordinator. I believe recently before that had recently been promoted like assistant AD.
Yeah.
So he'd just gotten a promotion. He's got double promotion off season for Jordan Gill. So buy your wife a nice dinner, Coach.
I was going to say, let me ask you a question about something. Here's a spoiler alert for the 2025 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Gunner will start the year in the top 5. There's a spoiler alert. The
going out on that limb there.
Still by the magazine. Anyway, my question for you. Does this coaching change, or how much does this coaching change impact your thoughts on Gunner heading into 2025?
In my opinion, and this is not what's going to be in the magazine, I have my own thoughts. I do think you should leave Gunner number 1.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think Gunner's still the number 1 team. They are 3. You give them the respect, 3-time state champs, 5 state championships recently. All that, but I definitely have the concerns. I already had concerns about Gunner going into the year. They were a little bit young, lost a lot, replacing a lot of key pieces, but they tend to reload, not rebuild, obviously. But what I think is going to be interesting is Fizzell is really a really good defensive coach, and a lot of the Gunner defensive success, I think you can attribute to Coach Fizzell. I don't know if he actually was still calling the defense, but I know his hands were all over that defense. So that's Coach Gill. The offense is going to do what the offense does, but Coach Feazell is a defensive guy. So I'm going to be very interested to see how Gunner's defense looks post Jake Feazell.
So there's one coaching change that kind of was rather shocking. Okay, let's talk about another. Okay, and you got to follow me on this, but this all starts because of what happened at Edna. We talked about that show here, or that job here. Yeah. Jimmy Mitchell, non-renewed at Edna. After 3 straight state semifinal appearances.
14-1 last year. Pretty good.
Non-renewed, sees a writing on the wall and says, peace out, I'm out. Right? They go and pretty quickly snatch up Jamie Dixon from Blanco.
Correct.
Real good hire. We talked about that on the show.
I think Edna was open less than 2 weeks.
Yeah. Heck of a hire there to go and hire Jamie Dixon. That leaves Blanco open. And Blanco makes a very splash hire. They go out and hire Kent Walker, the head coach at Liberty Hill.
5A Liberty Hill.
Going to a 3A Blanco.
Correct, yes.
This is a guy who, if you remember, he took over for his late brother Jeff in the middle of the 2020 season. Led them to a state semifinal, I think, or regional final maybe.
No, state semifinal that year. They lost to Crosby. I think Crosby stopped the 2-point conversion at the end of the game. Classic. I think it was on Texan Live, too. Classic game.
I mean, absolutely remarkable what he did there. And since then, in 4 full seasons at the helm, remember when we would be on the show and that job would, like, he was the interim for 2020, and then they kept that job like open suspiciously long, and we were like, are they going to screw this up? They didn't. They hired Kent Walker, and all he did was go 49-14 over 4
took
seasons.
them to a state championship game the next year, 2021. They get to this championship game, lose to Sock. Then they get to back-to-back semifinals in 22 and 23. A little down last year.
Oh, okay. They lost in the second round to Brenham.
They lost to Brenham in the second round,
Yeah.
You called that game.
I did call that game.
You called the last game Kent Walker coached at Liberty Hill.
Wow.
You're the Grim Reaper, Tepper.
Okay, yeah. Big poison over here. He goes and takes a job at Blanco.
Correct.
I'll tell it from my point of view. You called me about a week ahead of him getting the job and said, I'm hearing that there might be a really, really big name attached to it, Blanco. And sure enough, I mean, to go and snatch this guy
was right.
This is a huge get for Blanco.
Oh, it's a big get, yeah.
And for Liberty Hill, who is they're such a singular program because of where they are in the state, the offense that they run. This feels pretty seismic for both 5A and for 3A.
Yeah, I think Liberty Hill, just looking at, and I don't think I've actually ever been to the community of Liberty Hill. It's one of those places you got to be going there to get there. So I've never been to Liberty Hill, but just talking to people, this seems like a community that's changing rapidly. It's growing. It's gone through crazy growth. They just opened up a second high school, and I think even this year, I think the second high school is already starting to impact Liberty Hill, their depth and some of their numbers. So you look at that. There were some things that I'd heard some rumblings that there was talk of maybe the district getting rid of the athletic period, and that you talk about, you want to run off a coach. Talk about getting rid of the athletic period. That will have a coach looking for another job real quick. So I think there were some other things going on, and I just think Coach Walker maybe just felt like Liberty Hill had kind of outgrown him. Like he just kind of wants to be in a smaller community.
Let's put it to you this way, okay? It could be as simple as this. There are guys out there, and we know a lot of coaches that are one school town guys. Okay? Respectfully, one of the greatest to ever do it, Todd Dodge, is a one school town guy, right? He likes like Lovejoy, one school town, right? Southlake, one school town. Westlake, one school town.
Where he's had success. One school town,
there are guys who like that.
Yeah. And I think most coaches would prefer, if you asked, if you polled every head coach in the state of Texas, it'd be 95% plus would say they would prefer to coach in a one school ISD.
And that may just be Kent Walker's, preference there.
And Liberty Hill's a two school ISD now.
A 2-school ISD?
Legacy Ranch is open. They're going to play varsity football in 2026. It's a multi-school ISD now.
The question now is going to be, I think similar to what we had, some concerns we had with, or not concerns, but some thoughts we had with Gunner. They run such a unique offense, that kind of pistol option offense. My guess is Jordan Gill's going to keep that around. He was the offensive coordinator. Feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Does Liberty Hill stick with the slot T?
That's a great question. I think the question is going to be, the offensive coordinator there at Liberty Hill, because Kent Walker's a defensive guy. He's a defensive guy by trade. So he bring his offensive coordinator, Paul Kilby, who has been a head coach before, Canadian, by the way. Shout out Coach Kilby. He's a slot T guy, slot T mafia. Does Coach Kilby go with Walker to Blanco, or does he stay and try to get the Liberty Hill job? And if he doesn't get the Liberty Hill job, then does he go to Blanco? So it's be interesting to see how this goes. If this is me speaking hypothetically here, if you're Liberty Hill and you want to transition away from the slot T, this is probably the year to do it. You've got a coaching change. You're in a district that is relatively manageable. Bastrop's going to be really good. And Bastrop won the district last year.
Might be talking about them in the sleeper segment here in a little bit.
If you're going to transition, though, this might be a year because you have a manageable by-district matchup. So if you can get into the playoffs, you can have a good chance to get out of the first round. And if you transition and you make the area playoffs, it's not bad. So if you're going to transition, this might be the year to do it. It's going to be a rough transition. When Liberty Hill, there will be a day where Liberty Hill does not run the slot T.
Yeah,
there will be a day that happens.
There's a long enough timeline,
and when that happens, that transition is going to be rough. So if you can mitigate the transition, do it. And so maybe this is the time they do it.
Another place that is going through a coaching change, another big time coaching change. I would say it was a little bit unexpected, but not necessarily surprising, just considering. But Wimberley. It's come open and
still open.
Doug Warren has retired after a 36-year coaching career, and I know I've said this on this very show before. I think there is a very short list of coaches I would call super underrated, and he is on that list. One of the most consistent, excellent coaches in Texas high school football.
You could pretty much pencil Wimberley into the fourth round minimum just about every year he was there.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they just were dominant in Region 4 and took him to a couple of state title games.
4 other state semifinal appearances. So he made 6 semifinal appearances from 2013 to 2024.
Really good, really heck of a run. His brother won a state championship at Abilene. Great coaching family. Doug's done a heck of a job there at Wimberley and keeping that program. He took over for Weldon Nelms when Coach Nelms left, and kept Wimberley as consistent as ever down there in that part of the state. And this is another one. This job is still open. I'll be very surprised if they go outside.
You think this is an internal hire?
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's a little weird it's drug on this long, but to me, the success they've had, they have a guy on staff who's kind of been earmarked as the next guy. Just go ahead and make it official and name him. But it's a little odd. That job, Wimberley opened up, I think it's been at least 3 weeks.
It was October or August 22nd. I had to look. April 22nd, rather.
So
I had to go see.
We're getting close to a month. So, but the other thing is I didn't see Wimberley. I don't think it posted on THSCA. So it's kind of curious how it's going there.
Let's close the loop on another, I think, rather... what's the word I'm looking for? Unexpected coaching change, and that's at Mason. 2A Mason, a perennial power there in Region 4. We talked about Michael McLeod, who, again, got non-renewed. He has since become the defensive coordinator there at Llano. They have gone, and I know you were tracking this job pretty closely. Good list of applicants.
Yeah.
And they land Wade Griffin from Weimar, a guy who used to be the coach at Georgetown, if I remember correctly.
No, he was at Elgin. He was an assistant at Georgetown.
Elgin, that's right.
Griffin was at Elgin. He was at Fort Worth Brewer for a couple of years. So he's Giddings. He was at Giddings for a few years. There took Giddings to the third. Bounced around. Very good record. He's won everywhere he's been. And I think he did a good job at Weimar. Weimar was 10-3 in 2023, so 7-5 last year. So he's done a good job there. I think Griffin's going to transition Mason a little bit away from what they've been doing offensively. I think you could see more of a power spread type look from Mason. Griffin's another defensive guy, not really married to a system offensively. So, but heck of a coach. The other key thing, when looking, Coach McLeod's wife was a coach on the girls' side. Coach Griffin's wife is a coach. So that helped Coach Griffin. You know, he's like, hey, we're
a 2-for-1. We're combo meal.
I'm the second best coach in the family here.
Yeah.
You know, Mrs. Griffin is the real winner here. So good hire from Mason. I think Coach Griffin's going to do a good job there. Getting started late, but I expect Mason, the kind of kids they have, the tradition they have, they're gonna slide in and transition just fine.
Watch this transition.
All right.
So Wade Griffin is the former coach at Elgin. Now also a former coach at Elgin is the new head coach at Woodville.
Yes.
Heath Clausen.
There you go.
Heath Clausen, who did such a great job there at Elgin, goes and takes over a team that made a state championship game last year.
Yeah, Woodville, who was Gunner's opponent in the state championship. So it's all coming back here.
A new
around.
3A Division II title game.
Coach Clausen did a heck of a job there. Elgin took him to the area playoffs last year. He goes to Woodville. I think it's going to be really interesting to see if he opens up that offense a little bit with Luke Babin at quarterback returning. I think Coach Clausen is a little bit more of a wide open offensive mind, and so I think you might see Woodville slinging around a little bit more.
Let's talk about Lubbock Monterey. Lubbock Monterey is open. You reported this about a week ago that job had been posted by Lubbock ISD. That means Judd Thrash is out after 3 seasons at the helm.
Sure. Yeah.
He had been in a situation, I know he had been put on administrative leave.
Yeah.
After an incident. I believe an arrest was
Correct.
made.
Yeah.
He was put on administrative leave. We had kind of been running down this story, but then the story kind of falls in your lap whenever Lubbock ISD posts the job. That kind of tells you what's going on.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to reassign Coach Thrash within the district to a different position inside the district, and then obviously that means the job is posted. You can kind of see the tea leaves, kind of the way it was going, because they decided to do spring football while Coach Thrash is on administrative leave. So kind of told me, okay, they're moving forward without Coach Thrash here. They're having spring practice, that kind of thing. So they've got a great coach on staff. Jason Sims, the offensive coordinator. Former Childress head coach,
a guy. Boy, we've been talking. This offseason, there have been a number of guys who have maybe gotten unfortunate deals at their
alma mater. And Coach Sims is a Childress guy, and I think he got a kind of a raw deal when he got let go at Childress, and so he was the offensive coordinator last year at Monterey. Did a great job. Monterey had a great year last year. District champs, made the area playoffs, gave Denton Ryan a really good game in round 2. So to me, and Coach Sims has basically been in charge. He's not the interim. They never named an interim head coach, but Coach Sims was in charge of the athletic program while Coach Thrash was on leave. So Coach Sims has been running spring practice. I think this, to me, is a no-brainer. If I'm Lubbock ISD, I don't overthink this. I've got my guy on staff. His record is 147 as a head coach. He's won 100 games. Yeah. He's lost 47 as a head coach. Seems pretty good.
Yeah. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
You got the guy there. But Lubbock Monterey is looking for a head coach. Something that I bet will get clipped and shared with him. Is Cody Groves the athletic director of the offseason?
He made a couple of good hires.
Mesquite ISD, we talked about how they go and hire Raphael...
Coach Thomas.
Raphael Thomas from Houston Yates to go take over at Mesquite Poteet? No,
Mesquite High.
Mesquite High, thank you. It's at Mesquite High.
And then he hired Terrence Orr at Mesquite Poteet.
At Mesquite Poteet. And now he's gone and hired Pflugerville Weiss head coach Vernon Hughes to be the head coach at Mesquite Horn. Those are 3 pretty heavy-hitting hires there in Mesquite ISD recently.
All young guys, a lot of energy, kind of guys who are kid magnets. Coach Hughes was 17-5 in 2 years at Weiss. Weiss was set up to be really good this year. So, Coach Hughes, it took a lot, now he's going to have his work cut out from Horn. Horn's going through some transition right now. They're probably looking at a little bit of a rebuild, but Coach Hughes is a really good coach, a dynamic offensive mind, comes from the Steve Van Meter kind of coaching tree there when Van Meter was at Hutto, and then he went to Weiss with Van Meter. Really good with quarterbacks. I expect Horn to be a high-flying offense, but they might struggle a little bit in year 1 just because of the transition. But Coach Hughes is a good ball coach, so good hire there for Mesquite ISD.
I'm trying to think if there's any other coaching changes that we haven't talked about this offseason that bears talking about.
We'll do one that happened recently. How about El Paso Franklin named Ruben Torres? Coach Torres, a guy who led Marlin to a state semifinal appearance in 2021, goes back home to El Paso.
It's a snip, snap for him. He leaves El Paso to go to Central Texas, and now from whence he came.
Yes, he was the offensive coordinator last year at Garland Naaman Forest with Jesse Perales, another El Paso guy. So then now he gets the Franklin job. Coach Torres was an assistant at Franklin for a couple of years, so knows the lay of the land. El Paso Franklin is kind of a sleeping giant in El Paso, located on the west side of town, kind of an affluent area. Usually have good size. Their track team was unbelievable this year. They were regional champs, and I think had a couple teams placed in the state track meet in the relays. So big, fast kids. Franklin could be a really good job, and I think Coach Torres is going to do a heck of a job there at Franklin.
You mentioned to me, you said that Franklin was a really hot job out there in El Paso.
To me, it's the best job in El Paso with what they have, the clientele they serve, the location, the mix of kids. They have big kids, they have fast kids. It's a place that could be a really kind of, I think it could, and talking to multiple coaches, they agree it has the potential to be the top job in the Sun City.
You can find all of the coaching changes at TexasFootball.com. There have been a couple. How many have there been?
Well over 200.
Well over 200.
220,
changes.
221, something like that.
You can find those on Texas.
It'll be more next year. It's a realignment year.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So Texas football
keeps me employed.
It's
the only reason I'm here.
That's
coaching
right.
changes. It's the only reason I'm here.
Keep them coming.
Yeah. Only reason I'm here.
It's Tep and Stepp. And we are rocking and rolling now into a little 7-on-7 talk. So the state's, of course, TexasFootball.com, your home for the state 7-on-7 tournament, going on College Station in about a month.
Yeah, June 26th to 28th.
About 5 weeks, yeah. Five weeks down there in the Brazos Valley. I know you can find all the teams that have qualified already on TexasFootball.com. We won't dwell on it. The whole next episode of Tep and Stepp in June is going to be full-on 7-on-7, state 7-on-7 preview.
That's right.
Are there a couple of teams, a couple of things that you've seen in 7-on-7 so far in these state qualifying tournaments that have really stood out to you?
Yeah, so I'm going to save one team for my sleeper segment. That's
a man who knows how to book a show.
So I've been to 3 SQTs this year so far. I'm going to name one from each SQT.
Okay.
So I went to Kilgore on May 10th. And shocking, but Kilgore is going to be really good next year. They qualified at that tournament. But I thought Lindale looked really good. So Kilgore's not my team. Lindale. Keep an eye on Lindale. A lot of experience coming back for Chris Cochran's ball club. They were finished 4th last year in that really tough district. But I was very impressed with Lindale. I think they're going to be kind of a team that caught my eye in the first week of 7-on-7 that I watched. This past week, I went down to the Houston area and caught 2 different SQTs. First, I was at Cy-Fair West for that SQT. And one of the teams we'll talk about in a little while, won't mention them, but I thought Fort Bend Hightower, very, very young, but extremely talented, shocking. Cornelius Anthony's ball club, they qualified. But the team they beat to qualify was the one that really caught my eye. That was Waller.
Waller.
This is a team that brings back all 11 starters on offense.
Okay.
Including sensational sophomore quarterback TK Gaines. So I put a tweet out about him, took a picture of him. TK Gaines is
look at you recruiting recruiting guy.
Yeah, tagging Greg Powers and big Crute and little Crute, Greg and Mallory in that tweet. But TK Gaines, their 2028 quarterback, he's going to be special. He's unbelievable already he's still a freshman basically. He started 10 games for them as a freshman last year. Watch out for Waller if you're looking for a sleeper in Houston area to talk about. Could be the Waller Bulldogs team to keep an eye on. Then on Saturday, I was out in West Columbia at the Roughnecks SQT, hanging out with Coach Ernest Pena, and Columbia qualified. It looked really great. Dasi Abdallah just picked up a Washington State offer. Kind of Columbia's big time guy there. Bay City gonna be real young this year. Going to be really young on offense, experienced on defense. Hitchcock breaking in a new quarterback. A little bit of ups and downs from Hitchcock so far in 7-on-7. But watch out for Lamarck. Okay. I think Wade Oliphant's got something cooking there in Lamarck. That's a tradition-rich program that's hit some lean years for sure. And I see Lamarck trending up. I like what Coach Oliphant's doing there. They got some good-looking kids there. Okay. Watch out for Lamarck kind of as another a team that no one's talking about that could do some damage. I think Lamarck could be in for a good year.
Okay.
Let's see. This week I'm going to Mineral Wells, so I'll be out there in one of your favorite towns.
I do love Mineral Wells.
For an SQT. And then in 2 weeks, May 31st, I'm returning to the 915.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to El Paso.
Oh my goodness.
Eastwood SQT. Going to hang out with my guy, Coach Lopez at Eastwood, and go eat at L&J Cafe.
Oh, I hate you so
lots
much.
Pictures are going to be in the Slack. It's going to be great.
I think you're obnoxious, and I think you should stop. Right. So there it is. Some 7-on-7 talk. Of course, the next episode of Tep and Stepp will come to you in June as we preview the state 7-on-7 tournament there in late June.
Big preview, and we're also going to. Are we at liberty to reveal that or no?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
Well, remember last year we on Sunday before the state 7-on-7 tournament, we were exclusive reveal of the pools. We're on Texan Live. We will be doing that again this year.
Okay,
we will be revealing the pools exclusively. So, coaches, if you're gonna have your watching parties, make sure you tag us in Twitter. I know Austin Anderson had kind of that NCAA tournament style watching party. So, get your party ready to go if you qualified, and maybe we'll talk about you on the show. So
maybe
we're excited about that.
Yeah, maybe we will. We'll give you a little something.
So we'll be doing that, and then we'll do that on Sunday, and then on Monday before State 7-on-7, we will record Tep and Stepp, your full breakdown of the state tournament, and then I know we've got a lot of cool things planned.
Yeah, we got so
in
much
College Station and in the studio.
We've got so much content. Yeah. So much content.
It's gonna be great.
All right, Matthew, it's now time for one of the most anticipated segments of the year here on Tep and Stepp.
I got 5 text messages about it.
Okay.
I didn't, but
that's good because you're going to have to come up with one for each text message. It's time to talk sleepers.
All right.
That's right. Sleepers. Teams that you're not thinking about that we think are going to be impactful in Texas high school football. And it's hard to define a sleeper because it's more like it's a vibe type thing. But I've tried to put some parameters on it. And so here's how I would describe a sleeper. That is a team that won 8 or fewer games last year. Okay. So if you say North Crowley, stop. They're not a sleeper. Okay. 8 or fewer games wins last year. And again, it's hard to say what exactly would constitute them being successful, but you think they're going to be a team that could play around Thanksgiving.
Sure.
Right? That'll be third round of the playoffs. That's what we're saying. So a team that we think could play around Thanksgiving. Obviously, some draws are easier than others.
Sure.
So you might.
We don't know. We're guessing.
Yeah,
but
we're guessing here. So I've got. Well, I don't know how you went. I have one for each 11-man classification.
I've got a couple, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right.
There's 2 in one classification I really like, so we'll see.
I'll let you go first.
Okay.
I'll give you.
I'm going to start with the number 1 sleeper in the state of Texas.
North Crowley.
Yes. Ray Gates. What are you going to do this year?
No. That would be so good.
I wrote an article about this team a couple weeks ago, which you can see on TexasFootball.com. This team was 0-10 last year, and I think they have a chance to play on Thanksgiving. It's the San Marcos Rattlers. I mean, and you're like, how in the hell? They are, and I think the article, they are the most interesting Texas high school football team of 2025. And this is because of a UIL ruling a couple of years ago. They had several players that had moved in simultaneously as freshmen that did not live in their attendance zone. The UIL ruled they had transferred for athletic purposes and suspended them for 3 years.
It was kind of a blanket ruling over it was as close to like a death penalty as the UIL can hand out.
Yes, and it's been. San Marcos they've lost 21 games in a row. They have won 1 football game since that ruling in October of 2022. And let me tell you, they've been waiting. John Walsh been waiting to get these guys ready. They're going to be a really interesting team. That they have a lot of talent. They got at least 5 or 6 guys with Power 4 offers. They've got a really good young quarterback that people are going to hear about. They're talented across the board, and they've got some young guys that were eligible that I think are going to kind of fill in the gaps around them. So I think San Marcos, I've got them second in district behind Steele, but we're going to find out early about. They have Weiss and Lake Travis in non-district. This is a team that I think could really make some noise that people are going to look at and be like, well, how are they this good? Well. They got a bunch of kids eligible that weren't eligible, so San Marcos is my number 1 sleeper.
Okay.
To me, they're a no-brainer. They were 0-10 last year.
Yeah, that feels pretty good. All right. I'm going to go small classification to large classification. We're starting 2A. A team that went 7-5 last year. I think they got better as the season went on. Although they have a new coach. Matt Stepp, I'm buying in on the Dillon Bearcats. Okay, 7-5 last year. New coach Brandon Whitaker takes over this program, and inherits a team pretty loaded with talent. 17 starters back from last year's team, including a quarterback that, this is true, I was putting together the 2A preview for the magazine, and I just got online, and there's one kid I kind of like, I was like, that's interesting. I don't know if I've ever watched his tape. Heston Jobe, their quarterback, stud.
Yeah.
It might be a here's a guy for Carter Yates.
Okay.
This guy is
Carter,
a stud. Heston Jobe was he's going to be a 4-year starter for them. Okay, he's going to be, I think, a rock for them. They're going to be good up front with guys like Eli Garza. I think when you take a look at Dillon, I think they've got an opportunity to be really dangerous. Remember, this is the team that came in second to
Behind
Hamilton.
Yeah,
Hamilton. And again, we're talking about Region 2 of 2A Division 1, right? The most wide open region in all of Texas high school football.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, why not Dillon? I think the Bearcats have a chance to really make some noise.
We're going to find out about Dillon in non-district. All right. Week 2 at Stanford. Week 4 at home against Hawley. Week 5 at Munster.
Yeah.
We'll know. We will know about Dillon real quick.
Well, no, I think they've got a chance to really, really make some noise. I like Dillon a lot.
Okay.
All right, give me your second sleeper.
The team that I saw Friday at the Sci-Fair SQT and qualified for the state 7-on-7 tournament. Have you heard the good news about the Cy Lakes Spartans?
Oh!
Tyrone Carter enters his second season at the helm, and this is a team that Cy Lakes has never made the playoffs in school history. Ever.
They're a pretty young. To be clear, they haven't been around for like 100 years.
No, they've been around 100 years. Maybe 20 years, but never made the playoffs. I think their best season might have been 5. They may have had 1 6-4 year. They missed the playoffs. They were 4-6 last year in Carter's first year, and they got better and better as the year went along. 15 starters back, 30 lettermen, 6-4 JV, so a competitive JV with 15 starters. They qualified for the state 7-on-7 tournament, and they looked the part. They beat Cy Falls in the qualifying game, and just eyeball test, you're like, okay, Cy Lakes has never had kids look like this before. They got some dudes, Courtney Lewis, Amiri Barnes, Deshaun Butler. Deshaun Butler is a unit. Jimmy Alarcon at quarterback, veteran quarterback. This is a team. Tyrone Carter's got them believing they can win. Now, 16-6A is brutal.
It is.
It is a deep. I talked about Waller as a sleeper. There's 2 sleepers in this district, Waller and Cy Lakes.
Yeah.
You still got Bridgeland. You still got Ranch.
Yeah, I think it's actually because it's split. That Cy-Fair ISD is kind of split over the course of 2 districts and 2 regions, 16, 17. I think 16 might be the dirty, like the
16
dirty side of it.
It's tough. I mean, you got Bridgeland, Ranch, Cy Springs, Paris Melvin, Cy Woods, Jeremy Hickman, new head coach. You got Cy Lakes, Waller, Langham Creek. It's a really
it's a tough.
Really
There are going to be 2 to 3 good teams that miss the playoffs.
If Cy Lakes can get into the playoffs, though, watch out for them. I like the Spartans. I think Tyrone Carter is doing a heck of a job there.
Okay. I'm going to go from a little bit west, kind of big country-ish there with Dillon, to east. Let's talk about Sam Wells' Troop Tigers. And it's twofold for me on Troop. One, they're experienced, right? It's a 4th year under Coach Sam Wells. He brings back 18 starters from last year's team that went 8-4 last year. They've got guys that I like. Brett Wells, the running back and linebacker, is strong. You can make an argument they're actually
probably related to the same.
Yeah, you can make an argument that they might even be a year early. A lot of their best players are juniors, guys like James Pearson, AJ Dewberry. Wells is a junior too. Here's the other thing, okay? They are there in 3A Division 2 Region 3. Okay? 3A Division 2, which was
tough neighborhood.
Tough neighborhood. Won last year by a bit of a party crasher in Woodville. Okay?
Who didn't win their district.
They're
second in district, yeah.
I think we know at this point that Region 3 of 3A Division 2 is a battle royale. I'm here to tell you, I think Troop's got the goods. And they're a team that can make a deep run. I like in kind of looking at the questionnaire, Coach Wells believes. He thinks this team has an opportunity to be special. And especially with new coach and a bit of a reload there maybe at Woodville, I think that opens up potentially for a team like Troop. I like Troop a lot. I think that experience matters. In a region where there's not going to be a ton of teams with a ton of experience,
sure.
Newton's probably the most experienced team in that region, right?
I would agree. Yeah, I think Newton's probably got the most experience.
But
yeah.
after that's probably Troop.
I guess them and New Diana maybe.
Yeah, New Diana too.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on Troop. I am big on the Tigers this year.
Right.
What's your third sleeper?
I'm going to stay in the Houston area, but I'm going down to Class 4A Division 1.
If you steal, you're about to steal mine.
Fort Bend Crawford.
Dang it! Well, now I only have 4 sleepers. Let's talk about Fort Bend Crawford together.
Actually, you know what? You talk about. I got another one.
Fine. I'll talk about Fort Bend Crawford.
You talk about Fort Bend Crawford here in a second. I'm going to talk about the Paris Wildcats.
Okay.
We're going to go to East Texas.
If you guys ever wondered if we scripted this show, now you know.
Yeah. Now, 7-4A Division 1 is the toughest district in the state. In Division 1, 4A Division 7-4A Division 1 is brutal.
Yes.
All due respect to 9-4A Division 1, I think 7-4A is a little better.
Agreed.
You got state champs in Salina. You got Sulphur Springs. You got Aubrey. You got Lake. Lake Dallas was a 10-win team in 5A, drops to 4A, misses the playoffs. That's how good this district is. And you got Paris.
Panther Creek.
Panther Creek, yeah. Sorry, Jalen Lotz is hanging out over here like, hey, dude, talk about who Panther Creek disqualified for state 7-on-7, by the way. Paris is a team, they're 5-5 last year, just missed the playoffs. Coach Hohenberger brings back 13 starters, 29 lettermen. I think Paris is poised to jump back into the playoffs. They got dynamic receivers, Keyshawn Roberts, Markel Finch, Hudson Harper, Aldrin Gill, Tyler Heath, loaded offensively. Defensively, Paris is a little young. They only bring back 5. But what do we always know about Paris? They are going to put dudes on the field. They are going to be athletic. They're going to be able to run. If Paris's defensive line can mature, I think they can get one of those playoff spots. And if they get in, they can make a run because 7-4A Division 1 is a meat grinder. And every one of the Aubrey was the 4th place team in that district last year. And got to the 3rd round. Played Salina. They played Salina as tough as anyone in the playoffs last year, and they were the 4th place team. So Paris, if you can get in, you can make a run. And I like the Paris Wildcat. I think this is the year. Paris will pop up every 4 or 5 years. I think they're due.
All right, and now I need you to be surprised when I say my next sleeper.
Okay.
In 4A, you know what I think's a real sleeper?
Who's that?
Fort Bend Crawford.
No.
Fort Bend Crawford. We know they're in a talent-rich part of the state. Down there in Mo City. Fort Bend Crawford last year in their inaugural varsity season made the playoffs. And
David Jacks, that's an unbelievable coaching job.
Unbelievable. We know that we've talked about this on the show that sometimes there are times when if a team makes the playoffs, it's much bigger, even if they go and they get wrecked in the first round of the playoffs. Which I don't think Crawford did. I think they were competitive, but even if they go in the first round of the playoffs and they lose, that experience of getting that extra week and playing in a playoff game matters. What about for an inaugural varsity program that brings back every letterman from last year?
Every single player's back. They graduated 0.
0 players. And they got dudes, man. Benji Fisher, their quarterback, is a dog. Alvin Mosley.
Mosley is a freak show.
He's unbelievable. Yeah. He's going to be like a high-level recruit if he's not already.
Yes.
This is a team that they're going to win the district.
I think this is the.
I think they're going to win district.
I was in Houston last week. We were talking about Crawford. I think Crawford's the next Iowa Colony.
Oh yeah, I think that's a great comp.
Because you think Iowa Colony, their first year in 4A missed the playoffs, and then they went 12-1 the next year in 4A. What's Crawford going to do with having a better first season than Iowa Colony did? They're going to be impressive.
Now,
Chargers are going to be a team to watch.
Now, look, Region 3 in 4 Division 1.
Region 3 tough.
It's a little tough. You're going to have to deal with
East Texas is
Kilgore, the aforementioned Chapel Hill, Lindale, Pine Tree. You're going to deal with a lot of good teams.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I think Fort Bend Crawford's got the goods.
They're going to be really good.
They're a dangerous team. I'm the first person to ever say that. What is your next sleeper? Pentultimate.
I'm going to go in the DFW Metroplex for this one. Okay. 4A Division 2. And I'm going to talk about Chad Rogers and the Sanger Indians. Okay? Now, I want you to think about this, Tepper. Sanger, a year ago, they go 4-6. They missed the playoffs. Their 3 district losses were by a total of 4 points.
Oh, my gosh.
They lost to Caddo Mills 28-26, then Alstein 42-41, Farmersville 39-38. Those 3 losses in district. Sanger brings the house back. 35 lettermen returning, They graduated 8, total of 8 players. They have 16 starters back, 10 on offense. They Reggie Jones, their running back, 1,400 yards last year. Austin Martin's kind of a do-it-all utility player. Max Taylor, the junior linebacker, was defensive newcomer of the year last year. Sanger has the goods. Now, they got to figure out how to win close games.
But isn't that just a matter of, like, that is a learning thing. That is you have to learn how to finish, and that just comes with experience.
Yeah, and they've got the experience back. 35. When I type out the capsule and I type in returning Letterman RL, and R is 35 and L is 8, you catch my attention.
Yeah.
I think Chad Rogers, ball knower, won a ton of games up there at Snyder. Did good things at Denison. Got Tioga going. Now look what Zach Birdwell's doing, taking it to another level. Chad Rogers, ball knower. I think Sanger is a team to watch out for in 4A Division II in the DFW Metroplex.
It's a very good pick. I like that a lot. And you base that at least partially on the head coach, right? Who I think we all agree, ball knower. I would say the same thing about my next sleeper in the Panhandle. I think it's time for us to sound a sandstorm warning.
Really?
Because, buddies, Amarillo's back. Okay? I think Amarillo is capital B back. They bring back 15 starters from last year's team. Their coach, Chad Dunham, known ball knower. Done great things at Amarillo and before that at Dumas. This... I like I have my favorites. I've got one of my favorites already picked out.
Okay.
Jet Lopez. Their quarterback.
He's a dude.
He's unbelievable. Yeah,
he's a dude. Yeah.
He apparently broke like every major school record last year at Amarillo, where they've been playing football for a million years.
They've been playing football quite a while.
But he's got Oliver Parsons on the outside, Jude Donovan running the rock behind him, a good offensive line led by Brandon Wright. They're going to score. The defense has got to come along. They've got 7 starters back on defense, but that's kind of, to me, where the rubber meets the road for Amarillo. But I think Amarillo's back. I think they are back in a big, big way.
In that district, Monterey lost a lot, and they're going through a coaching transition. Tascosa kind of has okay. Abilene lost a lot.
Abilene lost a lot.
Now Abilene's going. I think Abilene's going to be the chief competition, but
I agree.
I think Amarillo is right there in the mix for that district championship in 5A Division I.
I think Amarillo is going to be really, really good. Yeah. I like them a lot there in up there in the Panhandle. All right, give me one more sleeper.
It's an oldie but a goodie, Tepper.
Don't you freaking dare!
Oh, 2A Division I?
No.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say the team who shall not be named.
Oh, no. I'm talking about the
if you don't know.
Oh! I am ready to sound the alarm on Andreas Aguirre and that beautiful head of hair that he has, the lettuce, the mullet, the moulet, as it is known in more classier circles, the moulet. The San Saba Armadillos could be in for Coach Aguirre last year kind of gave me a heads up. He goes, hey, we're going to be a little young this year, but if we can get into the playoffs, I think 2025 we got a chance to make some big noise. And I think he's right. 24 Letterman returning, 8 graduating, 8 starters back on both sides of the ball for the Dillos, 6-4 JV coming up, Luke Tharp at quarterback, a true leader, Jason Everett, linebacker, running back, Cash Bryant, Cash Money, 6'2", 165 wide receiver DB. This San Saba Armadillo, Rogan Field, the graveyard, is going to be rocking this year. I think San Saba's in for a big year. Keep an eye on those guys.
Okay.
And when San Saba's good, it just makes high school football more fun.
It does. Yeah. It's yeah, I mean, they have that run there about like 2018, 2019.
Coach Fekoch,
yeah,
and then Coach Aguirre's first year there, they and the quarterback got hurt in the semifinal. I think it was a semifinal game, or maybe a quarterfinal. But yeah, I think they're trending up. So keep an eye out. And they're in Region 4 now. When they were making their runs, they were in Region 2.
That's right, yeah.
Were you at that classic game against Celeste at Mineral Wells, or was that Max? I think it was me and Max. It was like a 2-hour rain. The game didn't start till like 9:15 because they had a 2-hour rain delay, and it went to overtime. Great football game. But yeah, San Saba, keep an eye on the Dillos. I think they're going to be back.
My final sleeper is, I think, not from a record perspective, but I think from just maybe a name recognition perspective, I think that this is maybe my deepest sleeper. I am absolutely in on the Aldi Nimitz Cougars.
Coach Cornelius Harmon is doing a great job there.
Unbelievable job there. And I think they're ready for the leap. Okay, they went 7-4 last year, which is good. And by Nimitz standards, which they've had some lean years, that's pretty good. Making the playoffs is a big deal there at Nimitz. But they bring back 9 starters on offense, including Malachi Augustus, who's a true number 1 receiver. They've got their quarterback back in Albert Brown. Their secondary, I think, is going to be excellent, which you got to have in District 14 6A. I also look at District 14 6A, and yes, there's Spring Westfield. And Spring Westfield is your district favorite until they say they are not.
They've dominated that district.
They've dominated that district.
Yeah.
I think this Nimitz team can challenge them.
I think this is the year.
I think this is the year.
They've been building. Coach Harmon's been building the last couple of years. I think they're primed to compete.
I think they're ready. I think they're ready for their close-up. And we talk, I think in Aldine ISD, it kind of all runs together. You know what I mean? I think Aldine Nimitz is ready to separate themselves and be the team of Aldine ISD. I'm really excited about this Cougars ball club. I think they've got the juice.
Yeah. Big Cornelius Harmon fan. He's done a great job there. Don't be surprised if he's 40 under 40 in the magazine. He's a candidate. I think so. He's done a heck of a job there. They were down the dumps when he took over, and he has flipped that thing. Yeah. And I agree. I think they're ready to make that next step.
So there it is. Your sleepers. It's 10 of them. I bet 3 will hit. Yeah. At least. You know,
300 hitter in baseball. That's a Hall of Fame.
Exactly right. You're going to the Hall of Fame. Yeah. That's right. Speaking of the Hall of Fame.
What's our war?
Speaking of Hall of Fame, let's go over to our Hall of Fame producer, Vianney Moreno, who is not a baseball analytics fan.
She looked at me when I said, "What's our war?" I was like, "What the
heck?
What is that?
It's wins above replacement.
It's an analytics baseball nerd stat.
It's how it tells you how good a baseball player is." Hi, Vianney. What'd you write down?
Nerd alerts
in stunning HD.
Grim Reaper Tep.
I am. Yeah. That's on me.
Coaches changes keeps me employed.
It does. Absolutely true. If you weren't good at this, we'd probably be like, I mean, I could find someone to write capsules.
Yeah. Thanks. Just chopped liver over here.
Well, I don't know. We'd have to cut the logo in half. I'll look at the logo back there.
We'd have to pay someone to
redo the whole thing.
It's just me.
It's probably just Tep and V.
She's going to Photoshop V's face. Remember Pickle photoshopped her face
Honestly, the new one probably, if we get a new logo, we probably need to put V&A on it.
We should. She's part of art. Yeah.
It should be giant V&A and then also
tiny Tep and stuff. Yeah.
Hi, we're also here.
This show is not scripted.
The show is not scripted considering we both picked Fort Bend Crawford.
I pivoted though.
Yeah, it's good.
Amarillo has been playing a million years.
They have. Amarillo.
Over 100 years.
Yes, Amarillo's first. That's only a slight. Their first season V&A was in 1908.
What?
Okay. Yes.
Oh my
so when I say a million years, they're one of the oldest programs in Texas high school football. Literally one of the oldest programs. So yeah.
That's insane. Last one.
Pre-World War I.
I thought it was funny how you said this is my deepest sleeper.
Yeah.
My deepest.
Yeah. Aldine Nimitz.
It's a deep cut.
Aldine Nimitz is going to be that's like a hipster sleeper. You know what I mean? That's the shirt I wear around. They're like Aldine Nimitz. I'm just kind of ball knower over here.
Yeah, just ball knower Tep over here.
Guess you guys can't relate. Thanks, Vianney. Thanks for doing that.
Thanks, V.
That's going to do for us. Our next episode is next month. In fact, I can tell you when it's going to be.
June 22nd.
June 22nd will be our next episode of Tep and Stepp. No.
June 23rd?
June 23rd.
Sorry.
June 23rd will be our next episode of Tep and Stepp.
June 22nd is going to be the pool reveal show.
Correct.
Yeah.
For podcast listeners, you'll get it on the evening of June 23rd. We will stream it live from tape on
June 25th.
June 25th.
While we're driving to College Station.
Driving to College Station. Yeah. So you will get that. But that is going to do it for us. Thanks for being Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Stepp, thanks for your courage.
Thank you.
Talk to you next month. Tep and Stepp.
Bye.